Hey everybody, Playtendoguy here, and I'm back with another video. It's Monday, well it was when I filmed this, and you know what that means. It's time for another weekly pickups video where I go through everything I've had picked up and delivered in the past week or so. And overall, there's quite a bit to show you. I've got a game, I've got a book, and a couple of 4Ks that were really cheap, and some good Blu-rays. So without further ado, let's get into it. So hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping well, and thanks again for tuning in for another video. It really does mean a lot. So yeah, over the past week and a bit I've been picking up some stuff that have been on sale. I managed to do a bit of trade-ins to be able to get some of these titles as they were on offer, and some really good deals as well. So I got a book, a game and some films to show off. So I'll start off with the book first. I have this one that I found in the works. Been wanting to get it for a little while, but the price really put me off. It is Mandalorian Guide to Season 1. It was normally 15 quid, but it is 6 quid. But it only cost me the grand total of probably about £1 or 98p or something. It cost me something silly like that. You want to know how? Because I used my works card that every time you shop there you gain points, and then every 3 or 4 months you get the points back that you can use to get money off. So I decided to get this. There was a couple of copies left of this one, and I've been wanting to get it for a little while. Gives you a deep dive look in the world of the Mandalorian, well, the first season, so it's quite an old book thinking about it, but it's probably the best thing that Star Wars has done for quite a long while. And it has behind the scenes pictures of it, a little bit about Grogu, or as he was known then, the Child. Season 1 was a truly magical thing for Star Wars back then. It really did feel fresh. It felt a bit like a Western. Either his name's called, watching the Mandalorian or Mando, going his ways, doing different locations, doing different jobs. It was just a breath of fresh air. It was not tied to the Skywalker saga. It was doing its own thing, and I really liked it for it. The second season wasn't too bad, but unfortunately this recent season I just couldn't get into this one, unfortunately. But I thought I'd pick this one up and have a good read of it, because I do like The Mandalorian, especially Season 1. No, look, there's Baby Yoda. So for less than a quid, it is The Mandalorian Guide to Season 1. Next up is a game. I've been looking for this one for a little while. They had it in Smipes and it was pretty cheap. But I went to my local game and they had it for like just over a tenner. So I thought, you know what, I'll give it a shot and see what it's like. It's had middling reviews, but I've seen the trailer and some of the gameplay and it looked really good. So I picked up something called Scars Above. I mean, to be fair, the artwork looks absolutely stunning on the front cover, so that's another reason why I picked it up. I remember actually seeing the gameplay trailer for it when it was first announced in like a PlayStation showcase, and it looked pretty good. The gameplay is very similar to Returnal. It's like a space shooting thing. You enter like this like uninhabited planet and got to shoot all these aliens, but there's like a Dark Souls element to it. As when you die, you go back to a previous place and you've got to gain all your experience back, and you can also create brand new weapons. It's not the most complex game in the world. I've heard it's only about 6 to 10 hours, so it's not very long, but I played a bit of it and it's not too bad. It's a game that's been made on a budget and it does show, but in this day and age sometimes it's nice just to have something a little bit back to basics without all the grand and extravagance of a AAA £70 game. So that's Scars Above, and you do get artwork on the disc, but you never do get any manuals anymore. Yeah, overall I'd give this game so far probably a 6 out of 10. It's a fun, middle of the road sort of game. Next up we have some Blu-rays. We've got 4 Blu-rays. This one is an A24 film, and I did watch this one last week and I have talked about it on a live stream. Starring Anton Yelchin, who tragically passed away way too young, Imogen Potts and Patrick Stewart against the grain being a villain. It is Green Room. Watched this last weekend. Thought it was a thoroughly good time. I do think it's probably a little bit overhyped, but I had a good time with it. sees this like punk rock band entering this like venue, and yeah, there's a murder happening, and they get caught up in the middle of it, and they're all trying to kill him. They spend most of their time in said green room, and it can be quite tension filled, but for a film that's 90 minutes, it kind of does drag a bit. But when the action kicks off and things get heated, it is pretty tension packed, and some of the ways that people get killed in it is quite brutal. But for me, I've seen much worse stuff. Like Eden Lake can definitely ring more of a recent bell for me. But for like £5, I had a pretty good time with this one, and it's great to see Patrick Stewart in a more villainous role. So that's Green Room. Next up is a film that my dad accidentally ordered from Amazon. He's got my Amazon account, and what did he do? He ordered this film for some reason. But I haven't seen it, so fair enough. Starring Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis, it's Ridley Scott's Thelma and Louise. I have seen bits of this film in the past. I have seen the ending, the iconic ending, but I've never actually sat down and watched the film in its entirety. But I've heard it's like one of the best films of the 90s. Susan Sarandon's always great, and Gina Davis is an absolute joy. Remember watching her and Stuart Little as a kid, and seen more of her stuff as I've got older, from stuff like The Fly to Cutthroat Island to even The Longest Good Night. She's a really talented actress. This one also stars Harvey Keitel, and I'm pretty certain that's a very young Brad Pitt. Don't really know too much about the film, but I'm going to gather they're on the run. And yeah, I'm looking forward to checking this one out. Still sealed, but I'm going to give this one a watch very soon. Probably be one of the films that I'll talk about, saying like, shall I watch this one as my homework film for the week? So that's Thelma and Louise. Next up is a film that I have seen before. I've seen it many years ago, probably on ITV4, but I watched it over again at the weekend for quite a long while, and I had a pretty good time with it. It is Steve McQueen in Bullet. I thought this one was actually pretty good. It wasn't amazing. I do think stuff like Dirty Harry's more better, but this one's a more grounded police film. Definitely follows more by the book than anything like Dirty Harry, and that's good for it. Stars Steve McQueen as Detective Bullet, or should I say Frank Bullet, about protecting a witness, but unfortunately they get shot and he's got to find out who shot him. It's definitely more by the books. There's a lot of medical procedure stuff here as well, and again that's all done by the book. It's a little bit slow paced, but when it gets going it's great. It has one of the best car chases in history. It is so fantastic, and even like 50 years, well, more than 50 years, it still holds up very well. You've got a great cast here. You've got Robert Vaughn in this one, as well as quite a young Robert Duvall. You do get artwork on the discs as well, and you do get quite a few special features as well. I'm quite surprised this one hasn't come out on 4K, but now as I've got this in the collection, how much you going to bet Warner Brothers announce a 4K for it? But honestly, the Blu-ray looks pretty nice. So that's Bullet. The final Blu-ray that I picked up is a film that I've been wanting to watch for a little while. Directed by Catherine Bigelow, starring Ralph Fiennes and Angela Bassett. It's Strange Days. I watched a film called Reminiscence a few months ago, starring Hugh Jackman, and I really liked the whole theme that it had going on, like exploring other people's memories. And I heard that a lot of people talked about this one being sort of inspiration for it. Didn't even know it was directed by Catherine Bigelow, and its story is also written by her then husband, the iconic James Cameron. And this one sees Ralph Fiennes as like an ex-cop. He's down on his luck, and he sells like these digital trips, which are like memories of people, whether it's sexual or violence. It gives people insight into their fantasies, and he sells these on the black market. Unfortunately for him, he receives one of a really, really horrific murder, so he investigates what happens. In a backdrop of like the whole millennium going on and civil unrest, it's a really great film. Fantastic cast here. You've got a brilliant cast here, also including Juliette Lewis, who was in the Vacation Christmas film, Natural Born Killers. You've also got the late great Tom Sizemore here, as well as Michael Wincock. There's a great cast here. The film does run at like 2.5 hours, and I can get, for some people, it'll probably be a little bit too long. But the film takes its time to build up with its world building, and for me, I really, really enjoyed it. The best film you've never seen? It might just well be, but Strange Days was a true delight, and I picked that one up for about a £5 off Amazon. So glad I did. It's definitely one of my favourite films of the 90s now, so yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't seen it, and that's Strange Days. On to the 4Ks now, and I popped into HMV and these two were both on offer for $9.99 when you buy something else, and one of them I've been wanting to get for a very long while. Starring Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington, it's a Ridley Scott film again, it's American Gangster. I have seen this film once before on ITV many years ago and thought it was a really, really cool drama. Anything to do with gangsters on there, because I really do like that whole sort of subgenre of films. Russell Crowe's always brilliant as an actor, and Denzel Washington, whenever you see Denzel Washington in a film, you know you're in for a good time. I have seen like the normal 2.5 hour cut, but this one includes the 3 hour directed cut, also on 4K. And brilliant film. Again, it is quite a slow paced film, but once all the elements kicks in, it's a really good crime drama. Denzel Washington is superb. Again, the cast here is really good. You've got Idris Elba here. You've also got Cuba Gooding Jr., Chiwetel Ejiofor. He was in Children of Man, and he was also in Doctor Strange. Very good cast here, great soundtrack, and the 4K looks absolutely divine. The colour here is superb. There is grain here, but it really does add to the effect and make it feel like it actually was set in the 60s and 70s. You do get a load of special features on the Blu-ray, but you do get the director's cut and the normal cut both in 4K on here. So that is American Gangster, and that is normally £20, but $9.99 when you get anything else from HMV. So definitely check that one out. And the final one I picked up is another film that was in the $9.99 when you buy anything, and that is a film starring Ben Affleck, Jason Bateman, Common, I think he's a rapper, and I'm pretty certain he's in American Gangster as well. Andy Garcia, Alicia Keys, the late great Ray Liotta, Jeremy Piven, and Ryan Reynolds of all people. Smoking Aces. I can remember seeing this one many years ago, again on ITV. It seems like everywhere I watch my films now is on ITV. And I think it's like a Tarantino-esque action comedy film with a great cast. I think if I remember correctly, it's about like an illusionist guy called Aces or whatever he's called, and he turns on the mob to give like FBI a load of information, and they send out a load of assassins for him. If I remember, it's got loads of action in, some really good witty dialogue, and it's just a lot of fun. I think there was a sequel a couple of years later starring Vinnie Jones, but I haven't seen that one, and I've heard it's pretty bad. But I thought I'd pick this one up and give it a rewatch. It's been quite a long while to see this since I've seen it, and I honestly couldn't remember the singer Alicia Keys was in it, but I'll give it a go. It should be a good time. And for $9.99, this is quite a fairly recent 4K release as well. I think this came out within the last year. So for a tenner for 4K, you can't go wrong. So that's Smoking Aces. So that's everything I picked up in the past week or so. And overall, it's not a bad little haul with some great 4Ks on offer, some Blu-rays, and that Mandalorian book for less than £1. Not a bad little haul, if I do say so myself. So if you've seen any of these films or picked up anything recently that you want to tell me about, put it all in the comment section down below and we'll have a great chat about it. Always great to talk about films and what you've picked up. So thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch my video. I hope you enjoyed it. You stay safe, take care, and I'll see you all on the next video. Bye.